What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Today on deck we've got the Ghost 360 pouch and the Double Alpha Academy Racer mag pouch. These are considered rivals. They're both polymer bodied mag pouches used in USPSA or IPSC competition. The Ghost pouch is the value leader, coming in at about $24, $25 a piece, whereas the Racer is about $33 to $35 a piece. So the question then becomes, is the difference really worth it to upgrade to the Racer? As a bit of a spoiler, you can probably see that I have 4 of these Racers currently mounted on my belt, and you've probably guessed that you don't need 7 mag pouches, and I've just mounted this Ghost for this review. But yes, I prefer the Racers. I'll go into why that is. So diving right in, the mounts. Both are mounted through stems that are attached to the mounts on the belt. It's a little bit narrower on the Racers. They're a little bit there's a little bit more play in the pouch body versus the very stout Ghost, where the whole mount will wiggle a little bit on the belt because it's made to mount on a belt up to like 1 3/4 inch, maybe 2-inch belt or whatever. I haven't done a very good job mounting it, but the mount is more stable if you take the time to deal with it. However, the mount on the Ghost is this huge plastic monstrosity that totally divorces your inner layer belt from your outer layer, versus the Double Alpha, which is just these nice little metal straps which allow a good solid bind for your inner and outer belt. In a division like production where you've got a bunch of these things, that really adds up. So definitely give the tip of the hat to the Double Alphas on how they mount to the belt in that regard. Also, just how long it takes to get the things mounted on your belt. They used Phillips head screwdrivers on the 360s, and that's nice, and they used Allen key hex head screws here, and they furnished the hex wrenches so you can keep them in your range bag. So you can mount these quicker. I prefer the screws, but the hex heads work fine as well. But you have to deal with 4 of these little guys, and it's just a little bit more of a pain to dial in the positioning on the Ghost than it is on the Double Alpha. The part that really kind of makes people care is how the pouches actually accept the magazines. So you can kind of see how they position on there. The Double Alpha, even in the lower configuration, which I have it in, rides higher than does the Ghost. I actually prefer the character of the magazine in the Ghost pouch, but the Double Alpha does better in so many other areas that I still give it the tip of the hat. So this does ride lower, and in my opinion, lower is better. However, the Double Alpha is more offset a little bit. If you can kind of see that, you can see the Ghost probably in there behind it riding closer to the body. So I prefer the offset more than I prefer the lower, so I'll give the wink to the Double Alpha there. As far as retention is concerned, they both use spacers. Double Alpha uses these spacers, one on one wall and one on the back, that compresses a leaf spring to provide tension, whereas with CZ mags and the Ghost, I just have the 2 rigid leaf springs that they provided, so that gets the retention done for production. These magazines are loaded with dummy rounds, so this will actually kind of prove a point. The retention is not very good on the Ghost. Like, you can see that kind of rattles around. It is very easy to kind of dislodge these. Now, it's worth noting that you can dial in some set screws which do put additional tension on there, but it also makes it more challenging to insert mags. The tension was good enough in production where I wouldn't drop magazines that often, so I don't use them. However, with the Racers, they're in there rock solid. They don't move around. It would take a lot to dislodge that. And further, there's a retention wheel on the Racers which adds additional tension if you desire it. So you've got that option available to you. But as far as actually inserting and withdrawing, both are probably about the same as far as how they come out. But if I actually go and just kind of, that proves the point right there. It's a little bit easier, in my opinion, to get the Racers into that. They've got a very large chamfer on the spacers there, so it's very easy to just kind of jam them in there, whereas the Ghosts are a little bit more just so. I mean, I've done it a bunch, so it's okay. It's got these cutouts, which are nice, but all that said, the entire point of a mag pouch is to hold on to the magazines for when you need them, and the Double Alphas do a better job of that. That said, if you go bullets out, these little acorn screws will walk loose, and that's kind of a pain. I do find that I have to tighten up the screw that holds the pouch onto the mount. Every so often, it's only 1 or 2 pouches where it's an issue, where it's not threatening to walk free. I just have to cinch it down and get it to where I want it. Whereas that's not an issue on the Ghost. I've never had that issue happen before. So, is it worth it to spend more money and get the Racer? Yes, I believe it is. This is not an inexpensive hobby, and even if you're in production or single stack division where you've got 5 of these suckers going on your belt at a minimum, and so, I mean, we're really talking about $35 to $40, and is $35 or $40 worth it for a shooting career? I mean, absolutely, you spend that money. It's money well spent, in my opinion. So that's kind of how they sit side by side. You can kind of see them, see what you think. You know, make your own decision on that. I would recommend the Racers at this point. I believe them to be a better value because I believe they're better made than the Ghost pouches. And kind of piling on that is this was formerly my pouch used in the #1 position on my USPSA belt, and I managed to crack the pouch body. And I am not the only person to have done this. I know at least one other person personally who has broken this pouch body. At the same time, I know a lot of guys have been using these for years and have never had issues with them. Ben Steger still uses the Ghost pouches, and he thinks they're fine, so there's a strong case to be made for the Ghost pouches. I personally prefer the Racers. So make your own decision, spend your money how you want to, but that's my take on it, and there they are kind of mounted on the belt to give you that side by side there. So this is Smuggy the Marksman. If you like Smuggy the Marksman, think he's cool, would like him on a shirt to tip your hat to fellow members of Polite Society, head on over to AbaddonApparel.com where you can buy stuff like this, t-shirts, everything. And you know, I would appreciate that if you would do that. It's kind of cooler than Patreon or anything. So, plus he's sharp looking. I mean, look at him. He's a cool dude. So, as always, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. I appreciate that. Share. Appreciate the guys on Reddit passing these types of things around. Really enjoying the Reddit community, so check that out. So thanks again for checking in, guys. Appreciate it, and I'll catch you on the next one.